KB back with you. It is the one, the only. It is your Tony Basilio. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. Ba 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 da la da da la da 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 We used to play that and say
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM.
Need to relearn that,
W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Ladies and germs, my name is Basilio, and I'm happy to be with you. Kind of fired up, folks, prepared today. I was talking to my special needs brother Steve last night. And I said, Steve, how you feeling? He goes, I'm pumped. So, Bri, if he's pumped, I'm pumped. It's good enough for me. You know what I mean? On a Friday. And I'm kind of pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped, Bri. Game 7 tonight. Game 7 Sunday.
Pumped.
Game 7.
Games 1, 2, and maybe 3. Yeah. You're pumped.
You know, it'd be nice in that NBA deal to have a couple close games in any of these series. That's all I'm asking. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice if they could start a little closer to 8 o'clock, but Stephen A. Smith has to run his fat mouth for an hour.
I can't stand him. I can't stand that guy. But that's all right. That's all right. Screamin' A's made a lot of money being Screamin' A. So it's a Screamin' A network. All right, let's talk here. Speaking of the network, Burke's going to join us later on in the hour on the golf course with Kyle Peterson. They're going to hand the phone back and forth to each other, Bri. They're out there playing. Burke says Peterson will go out there. Burke says Peterson will go out there and play in sandals. So we're going to visit with them.
As hot as it's going to be up there, I'd say he probably needs to.
I mean, what are we doing, guys? Because I think Peterson lives there, and they're playing at his home course, but it's like 100 billion degrees. 100 billion million trillion degrees, so that's where we are. Pump it up, baby, pump it up. Orange Throat today cameth correcteth, talking about budgets and the recruiting. One of the things he was focusing on, and we'll get Willie D. Heflin in here next hour. I want to talk about Tennessee having to let some guys go in baseball, and I don't think that's over yet. But I don't think it's a Tennessee problem. I think it's a college baseball problem, and a lot of kids are going to get some bad news because a lot of these guys are going to come in and say to a lot of these kids, "Hey, it's been nice knowing you." That kind of stinks. I'm here to tell you that kind of stinks, but that's where we are. Parents now...
Someone like
well, listen, Bri, if parents wanted to pay now for the right to have your kids have always dreamed of playing at Tennessee, and, you know, you got to pay whatever it is, $10,000 a semester or whatever, sit on the end of the bench, whatever it is, you know, like other people do. No more walk-ons. 34 spots, that's it.
I wonder if someone like Kavaris Tears would have been able to stay around now under that format.
Hey, Bri, Trey Lipscomb wouldn't have. He'd have been long gone. You can't have developmental guys on your roster anymore. It stinks. Hey, our boy Evan Russell. Ask him. Our boy Will Heflin. These guys that don't throw knockout mid-90s.
Kirby Cannell.
Our boy Kirby Cannell. Our boy that helps John Wilkerson on the air, Redmond Walsh, guys like that. Which I told Tony, the grit guys, the glue guys, the guys that really have made his program. Now they got to thread a needle. And I don't envy them, because it cannot be fun telling a kid, "Hey, look, man," and we wrote about it in the blog today, and because one thing I don't do is I don't pretend with you. Those kids didn't just leave. And I'm not going to sit there and pretend. So the NCAA has done this to Tennessee, but they've done it to all these teams. And anyway, the other thing that we're going to get into, and we're going to get into it with Mike Huguenin on the other side, is there's some reportage coming out. We were telling you that they were meeting this week. I thought they were meeting to ratify the 11-5 thing and just put it to bed and let's go. The the SEC has come out of that feeling kind of chippy because they were introduced to a new set of metrics that will measure how successful you've been in a particular season in college football. And the SEC's takeaway is we don't have to play 9 games now. 9 league games. We can play 8. That's the reporting around this. Now, the SEC is going to decide on December 1 how they're going to do this. If they're going to go to 8 or 9. The second piece is it's not a fait accompli that we're going to have, by the way, which was a Jeopardy answer last night on Jeopardy. It's not a fait accompli that we're going to have a 16-game playoff just yet, 16-team playoff. They're acting like 12's in play, 14's in play, 16's in play. We're going to talk about it with Huguenin on the other side. Listen. Can the Southeastern Conference, and I say this to you as somebody who finds the Southeastern Conference these days kind of obnoxious. Sorry, I just do. I know we're a part of it. Can you really be legit if you play 8 league games, Greg Sankey? I know it's all about the cash register, and I know it's about holding up the networks and turning them upside down by their ankles to shake a few nickels out of their pockets. I get it. That's the end goal here, is to grab, sneak up behind the networks, pick them up, and shake them by their ankles and get the quarters to roll around on the floor so the athletic directors can scamper around and get the quarters so they can then proceed to put the quarters in the hands of 18 to 22-year-old kids and a bunch of coaches. A bunch of people don't appreciate your money. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Shake them upside down. Can you legitimately tell me with a straight face that you have a better football league than the Big Ten when you're playing only 8 league games to the SEC? Because what they heard, according to the reporting, and we're going to talk with Hughie about this, what they heard is you're better off staying at 8. We're going to go to a 5+11 playoff format eventually. And if we do that, see, the Big Ten wants 4 qualifiers. They want each league to have 4 qualifiers, and the SEC is saying, no, we're not going to do that. And you know what? I don't blame the SEC for that. We got a lot to talk about with Hughie. I don't blame the SEC for telling the Big Ten, hey, look, annually you got 3 teams that can play. And we got about 9. We have about 8 or 9. If you go back to last year and you were to say to yourself, okay, the top, I kept telling y'all, you didn't want to believe me, that the top of the Big Ten was better than the top of our league. You didn't want to believe that. But nobody in our league could play with Ohio State last year. Sorry. I'm dealing in facts. And the Penn State team was pretty good too. But once you get past their top 3, that league kind of stinks. Sorry, I didn't do it. I mean, last year, Indiana, to show you, got in and they weren't, I mean, come on. It was a nice story. But that was a bunch of kids that came from the MAC and then came over from with the coach from James Madison. So let's keep it real. But the SEC might be incentivized to stay at 8 here. 8 league games. Because they saw the light. And the light is, if we go to this new metric, why would we bother? Well, the reason they're going to bother is they want to get more money out of the networks to go to 9. Because it's all about making the game better, right? No. It's all about turning that kid upside down in the school lavatory and shaking him upside down and getting his lunch money out of his pocket. That's what it's all about. So we'll talk about it with Huguenin. If you're calling the shots, or we have an 8-game schedule or a 9-game schedule, And then later on, I'm going to ask you, can you legitimately look at the Big Ten and these other leagues and say, yeah, we're superior to you? Oh, by the way, we're so superior, we only play 8 league games. Are they really going to do that? Here's a concession I would make with you, right? If you were to tell me that every athletic director out there in this deal would schedule 2 excellent non-league games, in other words, like Tennessee's playing Syracuse this year, something a little better than that. Played 2 of them. I don't see how these people are getting people to pay big money for these schedules. I just don't. When 3 of your home games are kicking scrimmages. And then Tennessee's schedule this year, no offense. I mean, that's like Cinco said the other day, that's like the dregs of society. Steve Morris and the Dixie Dregs. I don't know what to tell you. Other than I would not put it past the SEC to stay at 8 league games. Especially now that they're going to get incentivized. And we'll talk about it with Hugie on the other side. Mike Huguenin joins. Our usual Friday appearance, soon to be presented by our friends at Gufon Moving and Storage as soon as I send Tom something. And get him on board. So welcome in, Tom. Almost, close, kind of. I don't know. We come back on the other side. Mike Huguenin joins the fray. And I just wonder, is the SEC really going to stay? After we just assumed they were going to go to 9, this 6+3 scheduling wheel that we all thought, or 8+1 wheel, are they really going to stay at 8 league games? They might, because their calculation is we can get 5 or 6, who knows how many at-large teams into this deal. 5+11, we pig out. Because here's what the SEC knows. The more the Big Ten plays each other, like when they play their 9 league games, there's a lot more Northwesterns and Rutgers in the Big Ten than there are Ohio States, Michigans, and Penn States. That, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, is a bad league once you get past the first 3 or 4 teams. Now, I tried to tell you last year, the first 3 or 4 teams are as good, if not better, than what we have in our league. You didn't want to hear me. I'm going to say it again to you. We have one top 5 team this year in the preseason and a lot of preseason, and that's the Texas team. It is really interesting. This is going to be a crazy year in college football because every team you look at the top has all kinds of flaws. And then you look at us and you go, man, what could have been if Nico would have stayed? I don't know. But he's gone. So what's it going to look like now without him? It's just going to be a really intriguing run up to this thing the next couple of months. And we are going to walk through it with you, knowing that yesterday William set the pace. When we go to the phones today, you got work to do because William emailed me. William's getting his prize. William's getting a $50 gift card to our friends at Alumni Hall. And BC says he will accept the $50 gift card to our friends at Calhoun's, where I remind you, with the summer here, the deck is a great opportunity. They got live music out there tonight, tomorrow. Also down in Lenoir City, where we're going to be playing some music later in the month. It's absolutely outstanding scene down there. Outstanding. We continue with more. Mike Huguenin joins on the other side. And then Chrissy Boy Burke joins from the golf course with Kyle Peterson, who will be in, well, he's going to be in his, how do we say this? His flip-flops is what he plays golf in. He's such a laid-back Southern California boy. Or is he a North? No, he's not a Northern. He's just a laid-back dude. I think he's from Omaha, actually. I don't know. More after this.
Are you wanting to raise money for mission trips or summer camps for your church? Fundraising just got easier. I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds, and we partner with churches to raise money through custom labeled coffee. It's fresh, local, and gives back. Start today at our website, gradeagrounds.com.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Summer officially starts this month, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limon. Muchas gracias, limon. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. I just made myself so hungry there. I just made myself so hungry listening to that spot. My friends at Calhoun's, and Chesapeake's, and Cherokee Grill. Good night almighty. All right, Bri, before we bring Hughie in here, who are you cheering for in Game 7 Sunday night?
I've been on the Pacers side the whole time. No offense to Oklahoma City. I have nothing against Oklahoma City at all, but the state of Indiana deserves a championship. With as much as they like basketball. In 49 states, it's just basketball.
Yep. I agree with that, Brian. And then the other
just for that reason alone.
And then seeing Reggie Miller there and thinking about the history of the Pacers going back to the old ABA. and how great the Pacers were back then with the great George McGinnis. And if you ever are in like a used bookstore, you want to pop online and grab a great sports book. Terry Pluto, writer from up in where did Pluto write?
Cleveland.
Thank you.
Akron and then Cleveland.
Akron, yeah. At that point, he was in Akron. Incredible sports book called Loose Balls, like an oral history of the ABA.
That's the best sports book ever.
Ever. I've read that thing.
The stories about the ABA are just both. They're incredibly humorous.
Incredibly, yes.
And it's also an inside look at a pro league that was sort of making it up as it goes along.
That's right.
But the players they had, they had some monstrous players and some monstrous personalities as well.
In the 70s, before the big money arrived in the form of television, you could form a challenger league. And if you had deep-pocketed owners, now if you had to do it, you'd have to have the Saudis come in and do it. If you wanted to challenge like the NFL or the NBA. Now, they could, because you've seen what they've done to the PGA Tour. They've wrecked the PGA Tour. They could do that because they get their money from an oil well, and it's unlimited. But, Hughie, when you start talking about what the ABA did, and that's why Brian's right. That lineage the ABA has, I like seeing Denver win it a couple years ago. I like seeing those old ABA teams that were born out of that Gary Davidson's dream raise a banner.
Spurs.
It's kind of funny. The Spurs are another one. Yeah, it's kind of funny to see that happen.
And Reggie Miller looks like he can still play.
Oh, Reggie Miller looks great. No doubt about it. He's taking great care of himself. I've always enjoyed Reggie Miller. He's got a great spirit about him. Hughie Bear, let's talk here. Hughie, you liked the ABA, huh? Back in the day?
Yeah. I actually I lived in Raleigh as a kid, and we went to I can remember going to a Carolina Cougars game.
The Cougs.
They played the Nets. And at that time, the Nets had Irving, but Irving was hurt that day, so I didn't get to see him. But
you saw Bobby
Carolina
Jones.
had Jumpin' Joe Caldwell.
Yep.
It was, the red, white, and blue ball.
Yep.
And that's after that game, I can distinctly remember telling my dad, we had a basketball court or basketball half court in our backyard, and I'm like, okay, you're getting me a red, white, and blue ball. So, and play with a red, white, and blue ball for like 3 years. So that book is just beyond hilarious. And the fights.
Yes. Yes.
John Brisker, whose grandson is in the NFL now. Wendell Ladner, who died in a plane crash. Marvin Barnes.
Bad news.
Had the great quote about, I think he was playing for, I forget who it was, St. Louis, and they were flying to Memphis or something. And he was flying from an East Coast team to a Eastern time zone to the Western time zone. The plane left at 9 a.m. Eastern and landed at 8:50 Central Time. And he said, I ain't getting on no time machine. So he drove. But, that's the kind of players. Barnes was a good player, but they had just, the stories that Pluto got people to tell. And I think part of it is, as any journalist knows, if you talk to people who have not been talked to a lot,
yes,
they're going to have great stories that nobody else has ever heard. And that book is filled with stories like that.
Hughie joining again. The book is Loose Balls. I didn't mean to get off on that, but it's as soon as I said it, I knew Hughie would. I knew Hughie and I had never talked about that, but people that are in doing what we do, that are of a certain age, know about that book. It is so worth picking up. It's hard to find. It is extremely, extremely funny. There's an anecdote in there, Hughie, about guys in the locker room, and people are there to confiscate, take their jerseys right off of them. See ya. Taking all their equipment out of there. Guys running to the bank in some spots. Make sure your check doesn't bounce. As soon as they pay you. This isn't like direct deposit like today.
I mentioned that John Brisker guy whose grandson's in the NFL. His grandson never met him. But Brisker was a 6'5", 220-pounder that absolutely – there was a lot of fights in the old ABA. There were not a lot of great referees. But nobody messed with Brisker. There was a story about how he got upset at a different player, and after the game he went into the opposing locker room with a gun. And, the interesting thing about John Brisker, he has not been seen for 45 years. The story is he died as a mercenary fighting in Uganda. Totally serious.
Oh, hey. That book, nothing you could tell me about anybody associated with the ABA. I do know this. A lot of what the modern-day NBA is owed to the ABA.
Oh, yeah. The ABA was the
Challenger League.
The making the game experience different.
Yes.
Now, maybe it's gone too far the other way now.
Yes.
Too different. But, the three-point shots, the up-tempo basketball, it was a fun league, and that's an extremely fun book.
And as a young man who had very, very wiry hair, as they told me, who grew an afro when I was 15, I love that league. Because there were some great afros in that.
And some great. Irving played there. Artis Gilmore.
Give me Irving. Give me Irving in that league. If kids could have seen that, but very few people saw it. But anyway, let's move on.
That's the thing, and you didn't know how good Irving was until he got to the NBA, and by then he was already approaching 30.
That's right.
But Gervin, Artis Gilmore,
incredible.
They had phenomenal Ron Boone who played at Utah.
Incredible.
So there was a bunch of really great players.
All right, let's move along. Hughie, so the SEC meets with the Lords, the commission, as we're going to start calling it now. The five mob fathers got in a room, a proxy for the G5, Notre Dame, and they all got together and met as a commission. So all the mob, this is like Appalachian, circa 1961. They all get together. They're up there in Asheville. What's the name of the place?
Biltmore.
Is it Biltmore? No. The famous somebody will tell me this. Something Grove.
I thought they meant it to Biltmore.
Anyway,
which is famous. But anyway, yeah.
Where they met, it was a fait accompli. We're going to accept a 16-game playoff or 16-team playoff, 5+11 format. We're going to adopt it. No, they didn't. In fact, they came out of that thing with a bunch of questions more than answers, and I'm going to run this by you. The news coming out of this thing is one thing they did get is going forward as we see these 12 teams that are in the format, this is the metric we're going to use. The SEC looked at it, and the reporting goes that the SEC looked at it and said, you know what? We might be better off with this metric, which is going to weight the number of very good teams on your schedule favorably. We might be better off staying at 8 games instead of 9 because the Big 12, they don't have the number of teams, so they don't have to worry about that. And the Big 10 has too many teams, and they play too many bad games. So them playing 9 games is actually going to help us while we stay at 8 because the more games they play, the worse their schedule gets. The more games we play, the better chance we're going to tag a loss on one of our better teams. Last year, the way South Carolina knocked a couple teams out of the playoffs, out of a playoff chase last year for more. Or a Kentucky last year beating an Ole Miss. The thing about this league is anytime you get on the field with somebody, you're capable of losing except for the real dregs of society. Hughie, the league, and they're going to decide by December 1st, the league is considering staying at 8 league games. Hughie, talk to me here.
Yeah, that is so depressing. And I'll be honest, I sort of hope that there's a 10-2 SEC team. This is never going to happen because they know this but a 10-2 SEC team is left out for a 9-3 Big 10 team or a 9-3 ACC team or a 9-3 Big 12 team because those teams actually played somebody in non-conference. And you know, it's amazing that the number of SEC teams that crow. Well, we played a Power 4 in a non-conference. Yeah, you played maybe one. You played a drag ACC team, and the rest of your non-conference schedule is an FCS team, a bad Sun Belt team, and a bad Conference USA team. So the idea that you couldn't go 4-0 in non-conference play, that's such a rarity. You know, there are schools in the SEC that annually have a legitimate non-conference game. Georgia Tech has struggled some, but Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina, Florida, FSU, those are all, I think, legitimate. Kentucky, Louisville, but a lot, and I think there's always SEC teams crow about, well, we played one tough non-conference game. Well, you know, that's at some point, don't the fans sit up and say, okay, I'm giving money for facilities, I'm giving money for NIL. You're making me pay a seat license, and now you're charging $125 per game per seat.
For a kicking scrimmage.
For 3 teams that
Yeah.
I would not turn on TV because I've never even heard of them. And maybe that day never comes. But the amount of money you're being charged now as a fan. But, you know, again, fans aren't necessarily driving all this. It's TV money that matters.
Yep.
But I still think that you need NIL donations. You need donations to make your facilities better. You need donations to pay off coaches who have been fired. So at some point, I think there's going to be a pushback. I just don't know when that pushback's going to come.
Second action item. So the SEC is considering staying at 8. And Hughie, when you think about it, it makes sense. Like, I hate to say this out loud, but they're going to have if they shove through this 5-11 deal, they're going to create a system whereby it'll be advantageous for them
10-2
to stay at 8 games. That's right. I mean, you because and walk us through this. I believe part of the calculation is that annually the middle of our league is far superior to what's going on in the Big Ten. Now, I tried to tell people last year, and they wouldn't listen to me because they think because you play under the SEC or the Big Ten banner, everybody's got slower. That Ohio State team and the teams at the top of that league, the 3 teams that will be at the top of that league annually, could play with anybody in the country. Like Penn State this year, Ohio State this year. Those teams could come into our league, go into anybody's building, and beat anybody out there. I mean, these are coin flip games. It's fun to see that we're playing these games against each other, and I hope that continues. I'm talking about in the regular season. But Hughie, the middle of that league, we would drill the middle of their league most years.
Yes, generally that's the case. The 7th best team in the SEC is going to be better than the 7th place team in the Big Ten, unless the Big Ten does a reversal on how it recruits, and I don't think that's possible because of the geography.
Yep.
If you're Minnesota, if you're Purdue, if you're Iowa. If you're Wisconsin, you're limited by your recruiting base. You have to go elsewhere to get players, and that's difficult. The one team, I think Oregon, Washington, and USC, if those teams to me should always be at least 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah.
Should. If everything's right, they got the right coach.
Yeah.
So then you add them to the top 3 in the Big Ten, and would be Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Okay, that's 6. But then when it gets to 7 is where I think the value is going to start dropping for the Big Ten. Now, Wisconsin and Iowa have had big seasons in recent vintage. Wisconsin is struggling now. But, Indiana last year, but traditionally that's a garbage program. Rutgers is not good. Maryland goes 6-6. They're pretty happy. Michigan State is one that is going to be interesting to watch. But again, I think also, though, that at some point, like Missouri last year had a great record, but then you looked at it and you're like, Missouri beat up on the SEC teams that were really, really bad.
Yep.
So if strength of schedule truly becomes a talking point and a legitimate metric, I think there could be some 10-2 SEC teams that are not going to make the cut because, A, they play a garbage non-conference schedule, and B, with the way the SEC schedules, and last year was a perfect example, you don't always play a lot of good opponents in the SEC in your own league. There's always 1 or 2 teams that have incredibly easy conference schedules, and those are the teams that are going to get burnt.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned earlier, Kentucky beating Ole Miss. Ole Miss also lost to Florida. If you're 9-3 and you have a loss to Kentucky and a loss to Florida, you're not a playoff team. So that's going to be something interesting going forward as well, especially with it's got 14 or 16 teams. So we're talking about the SEC and Big Ten here. What if if you're a Big 12 or ACC team? I think you're thinking, if I don't go 10-2, I have 0 shot.
They don't count, and that gets us to action item 3 as we talk to Mike Huguenin about the stuff that went on in Asheville over at the Grove. They call it the Grove Park Inn. There you go. I know it was in my head. They were up there at the Grove Park Inn, all hauled up. Number 3. Big Ten wants a 16-team playoff with 4 automatic qualifiers from each league. And Hughie, the SEC is saying, no thank you. No thank you. We don't need 4 automatic qualifiers because guess what? We're going to get 5 or 6 in annually.
Right, and I think every league except and I'll be honest, I'm surprised the Big Ten wants 4. They're going to get 4 anyway. So why don't you roll the dice and maybe – then again, I guess they're thinking, okay, if we get 4 for sure, then we could get one of the 3 at-large bids. But yep. I think 5-11 is going to win the day, which means Notre Dame's almost always going to be in there,
yes.
I would imagine. So that means there's 10 at-large teams. And if you're the SEC, I think you're confident that you're going to get at least 3. most years 4 and maybe even 5. Again, I think the leagues that are like, wait a second here, are the SEC, are the Big 12 and the ACC, and maybe they like, but the Big 10 plan gives 2 automatics to the Big 12 and 2 automatics to the ACC, but it appears that the ACC and Big 12 aren't exactly enamored with that either. So this is the Big 10 sort of being out in the wilderness. But one thing that people need to remember, it's that those 2 leagues trump everybody else. They have to be if the Big 10 doesn't sign off on something, it's not going to get done. Same with the SEC. So the makeup of the playoff field is, I think, more contentious than some people think.
We unpacked this over at tclub.team today, where you see the blog. The next action item for Hughie to consider here is that while the SEC loves the new strength of schedule metric, the Big Ten's not on board with it. The Big Ten looked at it and said, that doesn't do anything for us. Hughie, in other words, these leagues, they all get at the table. It's kind of like these mob godfathers. There can only be one capo de tutti capi, the head of that room. There can only be one. And Greg Sankey and the Big Ten commissioner are going to battle it out for that.
Yeah, no question.
And
no question.
The Big Ten does not like that schedule metric. While the Big 12 likes the schedule metric, the ACC likes the schedule metric, and the SEC has signed off on the schedule metric. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I still think the Big Ten they're going to get 4 teams in annually anyway. So especially if it's a 16-team playoff. So I'm not sure why, but it is interesting that in talking to people, Sankey is held up as the bad guy by everybody, but Petiti might even be worse.
Tell me why.
The difference is Sankey is much more vocal than Petiti. But Petiti is, like you said, he is one of those mob bosses who wants his family to control everything, and he's comfortable letting Sankey be sort of like the public face that draws scorn and derision and gets tomatoes thrown at him, while Petiti's in the background laughing, going, "That's exactly what I want too. I'm just not saying anything." So the schedule, the makeup of the playoff field, that is the one thing to watch. Because Petiti wields a lot of power. And people forget, in SEC country, the Big Ten TV deal is better than the SEC's. And it has been for a while. And everybody laughed at Jim Delaney when he started the Big Ten Network. But he was onto something, and he started it first, and they're still reaping the financial rewards from that. So as much as the SEC schools make annually, Big Ten schools make more. It's, the 4 Pac-12 teams that came in are not getting full shares. Which is something to watch going forward too. But Petiti has a lot of power, especially among the TV folks, because he is a former TV person. So it's interesting, and it's also interesting that Brett Yormark, the Big 12 guy, has made big splashes. But when he gets in the room with Petiti and Sankey, it's like, okay, Brett, you can sit down now at the kiddie table, the adults. And because that's the way the ACC and Big 12 are perceived. They are sort of the kiddie table, because the SEC and Big 10 rule the roost. If those two conferences don't like something, it's not getting done. So that's the makeup of the playoff field is something to watch, because Petiti and Sankey are on different viewpoints on that. And that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
And see, that's the whole thing. That's where the rubber's going to meet the road here. People say, well, you guys can't be serious. The SEC is really talking about not playing 9 league games. The SEC, listen to the fan, they could care less about you. Like, I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know any other way to say it than just say it honestly. Your viewing pleasure is the last thing on their mind.
Exactly. The idea
no offense to you,
Petiti or Sankey. Oh, we're gonna commission a fan study and see what fans want. If if you brought that up in front of Sankey and Petiti and were a Big Ten or SEC employee,
yes,
they would say, "Interesting idea. You're fired. Get out of here now."
Yes, that's exactly right. You're coming from a wrong place. You care less.
Zero interest in what fans think.
Right.
It's all about what TV wants. How much money can I make out of this? We're gonna mess with the NCAA tournament because that means more money for us. That's and it's sort of like being the commissioner of of baseball or basketball or NFL. You work for the owners. You don't work for the good of the sport. And that's the problem, I think, when people look at Petiti and Sankey. Don't you care about what college football looks like in 20 years? No, they don't care. No. They want more money now.
Do they care? Hey, Hughie, do they care? We were talking about this the other day. Do they care that they've ruined these lesser sports? These Do they care that these athletes now have to travel from coast to coast?
No, not at all.
Playing volleyball,
they
soccer.
To begin with.
They would. That's exactly. And by the way, they would do it all over again.
They would, yeah. And they and if frankly, if someone came to Sankey and Petiti and said, "We'll give you an extra $1 a day if you have your mascots, do a tango, they dance in the arena the whole game for TV," they would do it for $1.
No doubt about it.
I mean, let's get serious. It's all about the almighty buck and diving under the couches for nickels and dimes.
Which leads me to this. They're talking about staying at 12 teams with their playoff. Now, again, I thought it was fait accompli, 16, so did you. I still think they end up at 16. It may not be as soon as we want it to be. Are they posturing for the networks here? Is that what this is? Since Petiti has this network background,
I think that's possible. I'll be on 12 is fine with me because it's you look at the teams that got left out last year, and part of it, college football is unlike college basketball. Does a 9-3 team that finished 5th in the SEC deserve a shot to play for a national title?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
So that's fine with me, but I don't think that because there's more money involved, they're not. I can't see them not expanding. So you're telling me that they're going to get an extra $1 billion if we go to 14 or 16? No, I'm going to stay at 12. No, that's not happening. I think they are potentially posturing for even more money, or maybe they are thinking the longer we wait on this, the idea that a streaming service would be interested
that's what I was thinking.
And pay us, $100 million for one game is a possibility as well.
Because the streaming services are making it rain on these leagues right now, and you know why? Because it's been proven. Like WWE switched over to Netflix. Netflix has exploded. And WWE is getting incredible ratings
the NFL game
over on
Thursday
Netflix.
Night.
Yes.
If you don't have Amazon Prime, you ain't watching.
No.
And that's driven a lot of people. So because I can't miss that NFL game on Thursday because I got a fantasy running back playing, or I got $100 on a parlay I need to watch. So streaming, I think that's the next big frontier for college athletics as well. And who knows? Maybe the idea is we sell one playoff game to Amazon, and we also make Amazon show the title game in every single small league for softball or something. There's a lot of stuff that could be at play as they negotiate a contract.
It's unreal. As Hughie joins. Hughie, are they really... Is this league on... After what we just talked about, okay, and we went round the horn here, you think this league really stays at 8 games in their next iteration?
I cannot fathom that, but again, I think it's...
I would not rule it out. I'm sitting here right now today with you. I'm going to say into this microphone, I kind of get where they're coming from. Listen, the fans listening to us are going to buy these seats. Okay, so I don't have that incentive of filling my stadium. It's not going to make me another $1, and it's going to make more of my teams eligible to get into that tournament, which is where the real money is at the end of the year. Why would I play 9 games?
Right, and that but at the same time, you're going to hear SEC ADs. We want to make sure we play a tough non-conference game because those games are important.
Sure.
And then on the other side of the mouth, We want garbage non-conference games. We only want to play 8 league games. We can't afford a loss. And I think also, though, the fans are the same way. I don't want to see Tennessee play East Tennessee.
It's awful.
But then you play that 9th conference game. My God, we lost to South Carolina. We're not getting in the playoff. That's pitiful. We should fire the whole coaching staff. We should fire the whole athletic department for going to 9 conference games. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in a way. But as a fan who likes to see good college football games throughout the season, I want them to go to 9 conference games. But,
we all do. But here's the thing. If I'm looking at it from their perspective and their perspective only, they don't care about putting more until the networks come to them and say, you got to quit doing this and put better games on or we're not going to pay you. That's the only thing that's going to drag them into the 9-game deal. Or somebody makes it rain on them.
You can manipulate your schedule to make sure you have 3 or 4 good games every week for TV.
That's right.
And if the SEC network is stuck showing Alabama, Western Kentucky, I don't care.
It is what it is, yeah. Because I'm already getting your cable money. See, that's the thing about the network.
We're going to have a great game at noon.
I'm not incentivized.
We're going to have a great game at 3:30 for ABC. We're going to have a great game at 7:30 at night. We're going to have 6 top 25 teams playing in each of the windows. We're fine. And if that means that, Alabama, Western Kentucky's on the SEC network, and Mississippi State, Arkansas State's on ESPNU, we don't care.
Hughie, you're the man. Give me a final thought here on the way out. It's been incredible chopping it up with you. I cannot believe that we're having this conversation that the SEC might stay at 8, but I kind of believe that right now. That's sort of where I'm leaning.
That's sad. But, the NBA, you mentioned coming in, you talked about the NBA Finals. I think it's been fantastic. 2 smaller markets, but who cares? And then you got the NBA Draft next week, which will be interesting. And the one thing, Ace Bailey, the kid from Rutgers, who was seen as a possible top 2 pick. He's supposedly sliding down the draft boards because he has not worked out for certain teams that want him to work out.
Well, he ghosted the Sixers, who had that 3rd pick. Would you take a kid, Hughie, that ghosted you like that? Would you do that?
That's the interesting aspect. I was going to say his agent is Omar Cooper, and Omar Cooper is Sharif Cooper's dad. I don't know if people remember Sharif Cooper. He was from the same high school as Ace Bailey. He was a national top 20 prospect, 5-star athlete, signed with Auburn, missed half his freshman season because of quote-unquote eligibility concerns. And then he played well at Auburn. I think he averaged like 18 points a game. Decided he was turning pro despite only playing like 12 college games. Went in the 2nd round. He antagonized people with his personality. The kid here's a guy who, again, a 5-star recruit, top 20 player in the nation. In 4 years since he left school, he's played 39 minutes in the NBA. And now he's in France. I'm not sure I would trust my son to the agent of Sharif Cooper.
What in the world?
Yeah, exactly. He went to the same high school, McEachern in Powder Springs, which is Atlanta. But, his agent evidently is calling a lot of the shots. And I saw a tweet from Jeff Goodman, who claimed that he tried to interview. You can have agents now in college, obviously.
Yeah.
So Omar Cooper's been his agent for a while. Jeff Goodman tweeted out that Omar Cooper, if you wanted to interview Omar Cooper, Ace Bailey's agent, during the season, you had to pay him.
Well, that disqualifies me. Hey, Hughie, thanks, man. Love you.
All right, talk to you next week.
If my Sixers take, first of all, I think that kid sucks anyway. Here's what with him and that Harper guy. If you're any good, how come you can't make the NCAA tournament? Hey, bro, I got 2 top 5 picks on my team, and I can't make the NCAA tournament. I mean, are we kidding here?
And the coach still has his job?
And I got 2 top 5 picks on my team? I mean, that doesn't compute to me. I'm sorry. No offense. In other words, I don't have 2 top 5 picks on my team. This This Ace Bailey guy, when people start talking about, well, you have this, and you got all this, and you got all this potential, and potential to me is code for you haven't done it. But who am I? That sport, though, that's why there's so many misses in the first round in that deal. Because you're trying to project kids into a men's deal, and it's kind of like baseball draft. It's kind of like the baseball draft. Speaking of which, we come back, a special surprise on the Lynx. And then hopefully the chef joins us. But I want to talk to you about this 8-game deal, 9-game. I'm telling you right now, the SEC, they don't care. They do not care. They don't care about having better matchups. They don't care about you getting a bang for your buck. Their goal is to put as many teams into the playoff as possible, which, you know what, could benefit us as Tennessee fans. You stop and think about that for a second. That could benefit us. That really could. Because staying in 8 league games instead of 9 limits your exposure for picking up that extra loss. And we have a coach right now who's done a nice job, who has us, in that right around, going to be in that spot. But he has a propensity to have that one stinker. And not having that 9th game could help in certain years under a guy or any guy for that matter. We saw it in this league last year. South Carolina dealt death blows to a couple teams down the stretch that were trying to scratch and get there. And Ole Miss last year, in a bizarre game, lost to Kentucky. Those games don't happen in the Big Ten. They don't happen in the Big Ten. Those Big Ten, old Western Division Big Ten teams, they're not beating anybody they can play. They're not rising up on a day and beating people. Now, when you start talking about the Washingtons of the world, and obviously Oregon's excellent, but you take the top 3 teams in that league. You take an Oregon, a Penn State, or an Oregon and a Michigan and Ohio State. When Penn State cycles out and Michigan cycles in, those teams are as good as anybody. They've proven that. And then a USC, if they ever get a coach who decides they're going to play defense and not video game football, but they're a video game football team now. This guy is a joke. That Lincoln Riley guy, this guy's a joke. No offense to him. I believe that when I see it. Oh, I'm sure they're going to be better this year. And, defensively, they're going to be better this year. And they're going to be this and they're going to be that. And sure they are. Again, kind of like Ace Bailey. I believe that when I see it. I didn't see it on the floor last year with Ace Bailey. Sorry. Hey, 2 top 5 picks, you can't make the NCAA tournament. In fact, you suck. I mean, huh? Moving along here. Ladies and germs, it is a championship weekend. Brian, who are you cheering for in the College World Series? Who you rooting for? Because I'm going to tell you.
I'm enjoying the games and not really rooting for anybody or against anybody.
I'm rooting.
I think what happened to Arkansas was funny. That being said.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm rooting against that annoying LSU team because, first of all, they stink compared to past LSU teams. They have great pitching, but they're not. They just don't belong there. That's not a complete team. It kind of makes me sick that they're there. No offense to John Adams, but the John Adamses of the world that think it's their birthright to win at that deal, it'd be so funny if this Coastal team wins 2 College World Series in 12 years. And I don't want to put the kiss of death on them and pick them. I think they're going to. Bino picked them at the outset of the tournament, and he's getting ready to cash a ticket. A ticket, I say. over at VIP Play, you can go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. Make your first bet of $5 or more, $100 in bonus bets when you use the promo code TNTony. Again, you put the code in there, TNTony, and $100 to bet with pops into your account. Plus, the VIP Players Club sweepstakes coming to a head, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, at the end of the month. One entry per bet, one entry per dollar bet. 10 times your entries on parlays and same-game parlays. Bri, did you watch the Edmonton Elks last night over on CBS Sports Network? The initial contest, by the way, ends at the end of the month. Subsequent contests will follow monthly. Bri, did you watch my Edmonton Elks last night?
I did not see that.
Okay, well, a little Canadian football. You can bet on the CFL.
I'll see some later, hopefully.
Live always, 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. You have a bet in mind you can't find on any of your sports books, toggle over to VIP Play, get in touch with them, send them a message, say, hey, I want to bet on this type of bet I want to make, and Killer Kowalski will put it together for you. Robert Kowalski. The guy's so next level. If you have a gambling problem, remember, that's why everybody's treated like a VIP. At VIP Play. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. Let's go back to the phones. In fact, we'll do that on the other side as we continue. We come back. It's hour 2, because 2 are better than 1 after this.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team started at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair. And they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms. And I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
TB, back with you. So Tennessee, a little birdie, tells me that Tennessee is hosting. Are you ready? Tennessee is hosting over the weekend 3, if not 4 prospects in baseball. They are going off. And shortly you're going to see a commitment which should pop at some point today, I would think, from a pretty damn good player. But these kids are being squeezed. This is a squeeze deal right now. They're now operating under a new system, and I hate what's happened in the sport from that perspective. On its face, the unintended consequences of anything is, I guess, what makes things interesting in life. But I bring Chris Burke in against the backdrop that, Burkey, how hot is it when you're out there playing golf right now in the noonday sun? I mean, what is wrong with you?
Well, it's about 95 degrees. I've made a par and a triple so far. Actually, just made a putt for a triple, just so you know.
Yes, a save, a triple save, a snowman. Was it a snowman? Did you get you a snowman?
Yeah, I hit it in the hazard and then made a mess of it, but I grinded it out for a 7, a real 7.
All right.
Right now, I'm standing over a 30-footer with about 5 feet of break in it for birdie. So give me a second.
Hang on. Are we moving left to right across my radio dial?
Yeah, we're moving left to right across your dial.
All right, hand the phone to Kyle Peterson if he's near you. I want him to describe this. Hey,
KP's going to do this for you.
Who is?
Here you go.
KP, welcome in. I want to know, what is your just your thoughts on this as you watch Burkey approach his putt?
You know what? He gets a little bit wiggly on long ones. He's right off too, so he's on the fringe.
Do you
disappointed? Didn't wear a white belt today, which he does most of the time.
Do you give Burkey tips? Like, I know you're at your course right now, and you know where the pin positions and.
It wasn't. No, I don't tell him anything. No, we got a 10-10-10 game, so this is 15 years running right now. So he's not getting any tips of that.
All right.
I'm not giving him that putt either. He ain't close enough.
Hey, who's more into whom at this point? All the golf you guys have played down through the years. Who's in whose wallet?
I'd say I win about a third of the time.
That ain't bad, Burkey.
So here's the thing. I'm definitely down on the bets, but he usually pays for golf, so I feel like I'm up on life.
Oh, hey.
I'm winning in the net. That's a full Tennessee thing, isn't it? Champions of life, and that didn't.
Oh, Burkey! Don't let him sit there and rip you like that.
Come on, he walked right into it. That ain't my
That's
fault.
brutal.
Butch Jones. Never a bad day to quote Butch Jones.
Well, hey, KP, you'll like this because I'll send it to Burkey later. I got a kid that called me yesterday who's been tracking the Life Championship since it was spoken into existence. And it's changed hands like a couple hundred times down through the years, and this kid has tracked it every step of the way like it's a championship belt.
I'm going to buy the futures on that kid. I like it. All right. Hey, so KP's got about a 10-footer for birdie here, and I got 4.5 feet for par. So hang in there.
Brian, who do you have more faith in, KP's birdie or Chris Burke's par? Because Chris Burke's already thrown up a snowman on this Friday.
That's a birdie, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom! That's what you tell him to take his life championship, big boy. That's what you can do with your life championship.
All is right in America.
Hey, KP, in all seriousness, though, I hope Burke doesn't put any impediments in front of you at the press box today, jeering you while you're trying to do your job. That's because he was responsible for that. Burke won't tell you that, but Burke's responsible for that.
Yeah, no, he plays like the nice guy card, and that's kind of his gig. But the reality is, it's the stuff behind your back that you never know what he's going to do.
Yes.
We're 10, 12 years running right now, so at this point, I know what I'm dealing with, and I'm on a swivel the whole time.
Well, and you know with Burke too. Burke's very silent with it. He's he does play the night.
The only thing in the world he's silent with. He's not silent with anything else in the world. That's the only thing.
He won't shut up.
No, except that when he's trying to get you.
It's unreal. Like, he'll call me during the day and he'll be like, "You got time?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. Not for you. I don't have an hour, dude."
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not a 5-minute process. It's significantly longer.
People think, and my favorite thing about Burke, you can speak to this. People say, like, he gets ripped on Tennessee Twitter because we got some real twidiots, and they rip him.
No, I had no idea.
No. Tell these people how much this guy loves Tennessee behind the scenes. Like all the sports, the football, the whole thing.
Oh, I mean, he's total. I'll tell you, I'll make it this easy. Like, if it's football or basketball season,
yeah,
and we got a couple different text feeds. I mean, I'm getting every update on everything. Like, if somebody commits, if somebody traveled during the game and the call was wrong, like we're getting updates on the whole thing.
He's borderline unhealthy with it, and that's when the non-baseball season. That's when Burke a lot of times will go to my dial tone zone, bro. Like, I'm not picking up. When it's football season and it's Burke, I don't know if I'm, he's a 50%er in terms of whether or not we're picking up the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when he calls during that time of the year, like he's sitting on a black couch in my office. Like, I should be charging him $200 an hour, but I kind of let him go, and it works for everybody. By the way, he just swiped one right into the tree.
Yeah, yeah. Let KP hit his job. You guys can quit hammering me now.
Hey, Burke,
KP's playing in flip flops, and he's going to hit one. He'll hit one here, minimum 280. If he touches it, it'll go about $3 bills.
So that flip flop thing you were telling me is the truth. That's a true story.
Yeah, he just hammered one. Yeah, and what's crazy is I'm so arrogant that I don't take shots from him, which is really a losing mentality on my part, but I just don't believe in the World Golf Handicap system. It's just a loser's mentality. So I'm playing him at his home track. He's so good he shoots par and flip-flops, and I'm swiping balls in the tree. But here we are.
Burke, you two guys have such great chemistry and have such great fun on the air together. Isn't it true that staying around those kids like you do with that sport, isn't it true that truly that keeps you young? I mean, it really does, right? It's got to be so good for your blood pressure, for your soul, for everything to be around those young kids.
With my own core of kiddos keeps me young. So fortunately, I got a few things going for me in that. Of course, that gives me a few more gray hairs too. I walked up here as if I might be able to find it. See, this hole where I just swiped it right?
Yeah.
People don't realize, but there's a little nook every once in a while you can get lucky. So we're going to go down there and see if I can get lucky.
Well, speaking of,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How is the fan base / the Tony Basilio radio family enjoying the College World Series without a dog in the fight? How's that going?
We did a whole show yesterday on Arkansas's heartbreak.
Was that awful?
Well,
that was awful.
We tied it into some of the worst things we've seen. Hey, Burke, we had a call from a guy, Tennessee fan, that was out there on business and decided to take a flyer on going to that game and said he literally walked out of there feeling sick. He was sitting around the LSU people, but he said he literally walked out of there feeling sick for those Arkansas people.
I couldn't hardly get to bed. I really couldn't. I felt awful.
Yeah, you guys watch that stuff, and I don't know. When you're calling a game like that, it's almost like you're calling a car crash in slow motion because you know what's going to happen. You knew it. When that kid at first base got in that second baseman's lane, and KP's like, hey, that's second baseman's baseball there. And then he throws the ball away. Now a guy's on second. I mean, one thing led to another, like the old song goes. You knew that was coming, Burke, didn't you? I mean, you guys just knew it was coming.
Well, I mean, everything considered, like all the plays that happen can happen. The one that honestly is the one that is the most head scratching for me is Aloy not trying to turn two. That was the one that had me the most shocked.
As somebody that grew up and you kind of played that position, right? Did he think there were two outs? Did the fact that his body was going to the third base side when he fields the baseball kind of trick his mind for a second where he just forgets? I mean, what do you think happened there?
I mean, we could speculate what happened. The reality is, like, you just can't really believe that you're sitting out there playing shortstop and you wouldn't be hunting a double play to finish the game. I mean, the runner at second base doesn't matter. You're up 2 runs. Like, the runner at second base doesn't matter. And for me, again, and I don't think this is all that abnormal. I mean, when you're playing middle infield and it's a tight situation with 1 out, there is nothing you're thinking about more than turning the double play to end that game. Like, you are out there with bated breath, just begging somebody to hit you the ball so you can end the game. And the only play that takes you to third base is an extreme range play where truly that's your only option.
Right.
That's it. Like, everything else, you're throwing the ball second base, you either turn it or you don't. You're at least keeping the tying run out of scoring position. Right? And at best, you win the game. I mean, there's really, seriously, like, I can't picture the scenario that would make you throw that ball to third base when you're fielding a ball comfortably. The only scenario would be that you've just run, at a full sprint to the hole. That's it. That's the only thing for me.
The thing you guys captured on the video, which really kind of broke my heart, the Davlon kid literally was crying his eyes, like inconsolable on the field. And then the Aloy kid literally is a kid that plays at the top of the sport, Burke. That's the thing that's crazy about it. It wasn't, no offense to us, okay, but it wasn't one of our guys this year doing that, which you could have told me, okay, a ground ball's hit to one of our guys this year, anything's liable to happen. I mean, anything. They go to third base, sure, anything is liable to happen. We saw us, no offense to anybody listening, but we invented ways to beat ourselves this year. That Arkansas team fielded at the top of the deal all year in the league. Yeah. That's another thing that makes no sense about it.
I know. And like I said, like, okay, the first baseman's pretty young. It's a big moment. He gets out of his lane. Okay, he's a first baseman who's young. Cool. The left fielder, it's one of the tougher balls you'll ever have to field. It's a rocket. It's got top spin. You break back. You break in. When you break in, you slip. When you slip, your head bobs. You lose track of the ball. As ugly and as awful as the timing was, like, in my baseball brain, I can see that happening. The play from Aloy, I just can't, in my mind, I can't believe he didn't throw it to second. Like, that's just the part I'm most surprised about. He fielded it perfect. He made a perfect throw to third base. The instinct to flip his hips and make the most uncomfortable of throws, as opposed to just make the very natural turn to second to try to end the game. That's the one I can't really get past. I'm just blown away by it.
So we did the show around the sports heartbreak thing, Burke, yesterday, and when you see it, it's brutal. Like, you can't look away when you see those things happen. But I remember somebody brought up the Notre Dame game when Tennessee got beat here that Sunday afternoon when it was like hot as it is where you are right now, and no air moving in the stadium, and you knew once the ball traveled out of the park they were losing that game for as great as Tennessee was that year. But after that, I didn't communicate with Tony Vitello for literally 7 weeks. Like, I didn't say anything to him because I knew that was a gut punch of all gut punches. When you guys get done, do you text Burke, the Arkansas coach? Do you acknowledge that, or do you just kind of like leave those guys alone after you call a game like that?
Just told them how much I enjoyed being around them and how much I felt for them and their kids, and they responded graciously. You know, the thing that I think the fan bases have a hard time with, you and KP were kidding earlier about my fandom. It's so much easier for me in the other sports because I don't know the coaching staff and I don't know the players, and I can just kind of be silly and be a fan and whatever, you know. But the truth is, when you do it and you make those relationships and you know the players and you know the coaches and they're good people and it's their life's work and they're right on the edge of it, and it goes like that, it's just impossible to remove the human element from it. And I think, like, even my daughter, I was talking to her this morning. She told me that was the first bit of the College World Series she had watched. And she was just like, Dad, I felt terrible for those kids. I'm like, well, of course you did. Like, you have human emotion. Now, we know that fans can sometimes lose human emotion because they dislike a jersey.
Sure.
But for most people watching that, and I think the hard part from KP and mine and Carl's perspective is you don't really like the feeling of the storyline being the plays that weren't made. We would much rather call a game where we're celebrating the greatness of a comeback, the plays that were so positively made.
Yeah.
That one team beat the other team. You know, I think the hardest part about that is, like, you also have to document the game. And the story of the game was way more about how Arkansas lost it than LSU won it. That doesn't take away from LSU, but that's just the truth of it. Anybody with a fair mind that was watching that would agree. And that's hard as a broadcaster because
it's brutal.
You know, you just don't want it to be about that, but you really can't. You can't do your job unless you're calling it the way it is.
Well, the other thing is, too, the Aloy kid's such a great player, but you had to say in the moment, hey, by the way, if he throws the ball to the second baseman there, that 100 times out of 100 is a double play. Look at this guy. You said he's not even in the running lane yet. You said it's not even close. The guy's out by 5 steps.
Yeah, I mean, and our crew did a great job of getting me the right shots. Like, the second look, you can really tell, like, Milam's not even in the picture. You know, he's not even – like, Aloy has caught the ball and has gone to throw it, and Milam's not even there. So that becomes –
yeah. He's played baseball his whole life. He knew he's out. Yeah, he knows he's out there in that spot. But, hey, Burke, I love you guys. Get back to what you're doing. Do your thing. Who wins this series, Burke?
Gosh, it's so interesting.
Take your SEC goggles off, and you better lean into the fact that team
the Teal is for
in
real.
Teal can really play.
My guy Mike Monaco invented the Teal is for real, said it on the air after they won game 2, I think, against Oregon State. Said it again the other day after they clinched to go to the championship, and somebody already trademarked his saying and has it on a T-shirt that's already being sold here in Omaha.
Wow!
He literally invented the phrase, and now it's already being marketed and commercialized. So he knows he missed that opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Monaco is going to have several opportunities, Burke, because here's the deal. That's a young Bob Costas that you're getting to work with. And you ought to hear that kid. You don't watch hockey. You ought to hear that kid call a hockey game. He is an unbelievable broadcaster. I don't care what he's doing. He really he's unbelievable. No, right. If he's a stock, I'm buying him.
He really is.
I'm buying him.
All right, y'all have a great one.
Take care.
I'd be shocked if it doesn't go 3 games. So that's my take.
Peace, Burke. Love you.
All right, later.
Chris Burke, one more time, appearing on your TLD Logistics phone lines. TLD Logistics online at tldlogistics.com. The straight truth of this thing is I'm cheering for the team in teal. I do not feel obligated to cheer for SEC teams. The other thing is, Arkansas eliminated us, and I felt terribly for them. I'm with Burke. And I can hate watch with the best. I'm not so sure I would have enjoyed seeing the Dallas Cowboys implode like that.
How about Duke basketball?
Brian, I don't know. I felt terrible for those kids.
They kind of did implode, Duke did, I remember.
Well, yeah. But not like that.
In their game against Houston.
Not like that. This thing here is, how many chances do they have to win the game? First of all, they get the first out, like Matt said, on a strikeout. Second ball is rolled over to the second baseman, but the first baseman fields the ball. But that's an out. That's 2 outs. Then you get a double play ball. That's 4 outs. Then you get a ball hit to the outfielder. That's 5 outs. Then you get a ball that goes off the glove of the second baseman, which on a good day, if you know what I'm talking about in baseball, on a good day, you come up and make that play on a good day. That's only 6 outs. You only got...
And you pitch to their best hitter.
And you pitch to their best hitter in the process. But you got 6 outs in the deal. Sports pain is real. I didn't get a chance to tell my most painful sports story. We did a bus trip one time back in the old DVD days, and I've got a bunch of games on DVD. I'm a sicko. And one of them is that Black Friday game in Philly that people to this day there, you can still, I could still walk outside and tell you what the sky looked like. I could still tell you how in shock we all were. I could put myself back there if I try. Where we were watching it, what people were wearing. I was so sure my team was going to the World Series after having not gone since 1950. And when you're a kid growing up for a team that's never done anything, and all you hear is your dad saying, yeah, we played the Yankees and got swept, and you're going, man, that just seems like that's a holy grail. That's like you're a Tennessee basketball fan and you're trying to get to the Final Four. That's what it felt like for us back then. It felt so hard. Winning 100 games every year or close to it, and then choking in the postseason. Arkansas style. I'll never forget that as long as I live. I could still recount to you the plays that led up to the inning. The plays. In fact, I met at church, several years ago, Manny Mota's son, Manny Mota Jr., who lived here for a while. I don't know if he still does. But Manny Mota was an old, played the game forever, was like an old Brooklyn Dodger. There were 2 of them on that team that, 20-year guys that were there for a long time. Vic Davalio was the other one. 2 pinch hitters led off that inning. It was 3-0, or the 3-run lead for the Phillies. They were cruising. They were getting ready to go to World Series. I'm telling you, that kind of stuff stays with you, and it stays with you, and it stays with you. Laura was talking to our daughter last night, who loves this college baseball stuff. Said, did you see the game yet? No, Mom, I didn't. I've been kind of busy, and she's 25, She can watch it every night. Laura's like, well, Arkansas blew a 2-run lead in the 9th, and it was one of the more painful. She said, in fact, your dad did a show today on sports pain. That's how bad it was. And we were trying to describe it to her, but you can't even describe that inning to somebody. You're just like, when you see that, you just kind of, and Laura told her, you can't even look away from it when it's happening. You're just like, Matt made a really good point, Brian, about our baseball team this year. It would have been really something to see them try and field the ball in that stadium, the way it's treated some of these really good defensive teams so ignorantly, Bri. It would have been really something to see us this year field the baseball in that building this year.
Well,
or this time around.
They didn't do enough, well enough for long enough. And Arkansas would have still had to beat LSU one more time and then would have had to win 2 against Coastal. But the funny thing is, they had this no-hitter just 2 days before, which I think is the only third time that's ever happened.
Incredible.
In Omaha. And
incredible.
And that might as well have never happened.
When I think about the real hidden thing that happened the other night, the real hidden thing that happened is we should have seen those two teams play again. Like, you kind of get cheated out of that. But now LSU's pitching set. So if LSU beats them, hey, the mighty Power League with the more expensive roster wins. Que sera, sera.
This is the second time Jay Johnson has faced Coastal Carolina in a championship series.
Uh-oh.
Which is another good storyline.
What happened the first time?
That was when he was the head coach at Arizona. Coastal won the national championship at Arizona's expense, coached by Jay Johnson. And now they get to face Jay Johnson at LSU in the national championship series 9 years later.
If the teal is for real and they beat that LSU team, they're probably beating a team that's got like 3 times the payroll they have. I'll remind you, Liam Doyle was something in the water there at Coastal because their starting pitching is excellent. And they're damn good. And Bino's going to cash a ticket. Old brother Bino told us at the outset of the playoffs. He said, I wanted to support you. I signed up for VIP play, and my first play over there is Coastal to win it. Bino's going to cash it. So if you know Peter Poker's listening, might be a good time to poke back in there and see if Bino will fund you. Do a GoFundMe. We come back on the other side. I want to hear from you. Here's what's up for grabs. 8 or 9 game football schedule for the SEC. It might behoove us as Tennessee fans to only play an 8-game schedule if you want to make the playoffs more times than not. Might behoove us to play an 8-game schedule. I'm telling you, the SEC is... Obviously, they're going to go where the money takes them. We've seen that. But they don't care about making the game better. They care about getting as many playoff teams in the playoffs as possible and getting the largest slice of the pie at the end of that as possible. I want to hear from you on the other side. 865-200-5402. I'm greatly looking forward to the College World Series, which starts tomorrow. Good luck to Burke. Don't injure yourself on the golf course because from the sounds of things, there's a chance the way Burke sprang it, he could have one come back on him, as I've done. We'll continue with more on the other side right after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Your Smokies are back home next week, and you asked for it, so you got it. All You Can Eat Wednesdays is back. Pulled pork, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, popcorn, chips, drinks, a ticket to the game. You get it all. Don't forget Thirsty Thursdays with half-off draft beers, and next weekend, we've got Medieval Night on Friday with Knights, Royals, and fireworks. Smokies Version Night and fireworks on Saturday with the first 2,000 fans receiving a free friendship bracelet. And come meet Flippy on Sunday. Grab your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted grade A grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, Piper & Plumbing, Heating and Cooling has Always same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent.
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631.
Believe.
Online,
Believe.
adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Basilio back with you, 865-200-5402, the numero 12. If you want to get in with us, we got a few minutes to play here. I'm going to talk to Bino about this 8 or 9 game deal on Monday. As a Tennessee fan, you're better off staying at 8 games. Because we're one of the teams they're trying to protect to get into that deal. Schedule yourself a win. Play somebody okay in the non-league. Kind of bolster your strength of schedule. The deeper you go into our league, the more chances you have of losing games. And our league is thinking about staying at 8 games for that reason. Meanwhile, the Big Ten does not want that strength of schedule component that they're wanting to institute. Somebody's going to win here when you watch these two leagues. They kind of need each other, but they kind of don't. Sort of an unholy alliance there at the top of major college football. Because what drives the whole thing isn't what's good for the sport. It's what's good for me. And especially what can put the most money in my conference's pocket. Because the Petiti guy, he works for those presidents and ADs of the Big Ten, and our guy works for the presidents of ADs in the Southeastern Conference. And the SEC, according to the reporting, might be coming to the conclusion that if we stay at 8 games, we can get more teams in the playoffs. They're right. They're right. I think that's accurate. To the phones we go. The question becomes, would you be willing to give up a playoff appearance here or there, to have 9 games and have a better product to watch week in and week out? That's the question. How do you answer that? Also, for the Tennessee baseball fan, before we go to our TLD logistics hotline, I think you're going to get some more good news out of the portal on the next little bit. So watch our guy Ben McKee, see if I'm telling you the truth. And then Tennessee's hosting a visitor now and then a couple more before the weekend's over. They're busy beavers now in that transfer portal. As we wrote today over at tclub.team, you can check it out. The unintended consequences of this limited 34-team deal, the unintended consequences are the unintended consequences. And that kind of stinks. Because now you got to tell guys goodbye. You got to cut people. That stinks. You don't want to do that. You don't ever want to be put in that spot as a coach. To the phones we go, 865-200-5402. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. It's Richard.
Hey, Richard. Good to talk to you.
Yes. It's been a few weeks, but been listening a lot. Just been enjoying all the conversations you guys have been having about everything going on in college sports and what's happening. So it's been good takes on a lot. We'll talk more football as we go through into the summer. But hey, real quick on this baseball thing, Tony. Seeing this thing go down to 34 players on a roster, it almost has become now that, we talk about mid-majors that have been getting poached. Well, there's going to be more players now going to these mid-majors because all the big teams can't hoard all the talent up. And so I think the mid-major baseball is going to get better over the next couple of years as this limited roster for the big teams. And the big teams are pretty much, Tony, this is a hard job now as a coach that you're going to have to flip your roster almost every year because for Tony, he's recruiting guys that's going to get drafted in MLB and it's going to be moving on. And so, man, this is not going to be easy for these coaches. And it really is, Tony. I think it's going to even separate even more the great coaches who work hard at it versus the other coaches, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are pretty good in baseball, I think, that are going to get left out some years because they just don't have the knack to flip the roster every year. And it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams. But
you're right on the money. And the other thing it's going to do, Richard, the postseason this year was nuts, right? Wait till these guys, like these three kids Tennessee had to say goodbye to, a couple of them might develop and become really nice players. Now, not all will, obviously, but like Trey Lipscomb back in the day, no way does he stay around there 3 years under the current format. There's no way. Maybe he doesn't even make it off that first roster. Some of these other really good arms Tennessee had that they developed and turned into veteran arms, are those guys on the roster to develop into really nice players? Or are they, developing over at, say, a Murray? Are they developing over at a UNC Asheville? Are they developing, and to your point, Richard, the 3s and the 4s going forward in this college baseball tournament, the 3s and the 4s are going to knock the 1s and 2s off a lot more than we've used to seeing, because that's what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I think so. And like I said, for Tony, with him, being single the way he is, he just eats, sleeps, and drinks, recruiting. And so I can see him thriving in this system as he has to try to flip his roster.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a challenge for some of these other coaches to do that, just because, I mean, you're like I said, you're putting together a new team almost every year because, like you said, you're not going to have the developmental players at all coming up, and which is kind of sad. But also, do you think Tony, behind the scenes, is working with several colleges to where he may see high school kids that he would take, but he can't now, and he will recommend those kids to go to certain programs that and see how they develop? Do you see that becoming a big thing?
You know, Richard, I haven't thought about that, but back in the old days when the 85 scholarship thing first happened, I remember certain community colleges would act as proxies, and you would stash players there with the understanding that, hey, I'm going to send you this guy. You don't let anybody get near him. You know, I think that's very possible. Another thing they're going to have to do is when they bring a certain amount of guys into camp, whatever that number is, they still have to get down to their 34 on December 1. I think you could see them, Richard, even say, hey, we really like you, and we think you could be a future whatever here. Middle infielder, outfielder. I'm going to send you to my guy over here at wherever. Dizzy Payton or Walter State or wherever. You know, either a 2 or 4 year institution. And they're going to take care of you. This is my guy. We're going to bring you back here. I think stuff like that, Richard, could happen. I really do. Like, you could develop a pipeline. I could certainly see that.
Well, I definitely. I mean, something's going to have to happen because, like I said, you can't put all these kids on your roster now and let them develop and redshirt various things. And like I said, it's going to be interesting going forward. And I tell you what, boy, you talk about old Arkansas. Dave Horn and Rick Barnes got something in common, don't they? They just can't. They can't get to that ultimate game, man. And you know, or it's just uncanny just what happens with those guys in sports every year. They get close, but man, just can't get there.
Richard, that was and it was a point A led to point B, led to point C, led to point D. Just a meltdown for the ages. And he contributed to it at the end by deciding to pitch to the Jones kid at the end of the game. I mean, and not calling him, I'm not saying it was any of that was his fault, but as if insult and injury isn't enough. I'll tell you this about those Arkansas kids. Another reason why I kind of hate it for them, they look like they love their coach, and they look like they love playing at that place. And I think those were real tears those kids were crying out there. I think that was I mean, you hate seeing competitors get a result like that. Like Chris said, it's one thing if a couple guys work counts and they walk, you know, or whatever, and all of a sudden a guy comes up and hits a 3-run home run. It's a walk-off home run, and LSU makes a play. LSU didn't make any winning plays, Richard. They just put a couple balls in play. It's all they did, and then they let their opponent unravel. It's bizarre.
Well, All-American shortstop has a tailor-made double play, and he goes to third base. In the moment, Tony, it got too big for him. It did, and the pressure got so big they didn't make the plays, and sometimes that can happen. I think we see that. Like I said, I think I see a lot of similarities in ball basketball, man, trying to get to that Final Four, and it just the pressure to get there. And when do you finally break down the door? It can eat young people up, regardless of how talented they are, and stuff like that.
We were so tight, you know. To your point, man, thinking about that Houston game.
Yeah,
you can't tell me our kids don't know. We've never been past this point. People, you can try and pretend like that. Those of you that are listening and say, well, those kids didn't play on teams when Ernie and Bernie were here. Those kids didn't play on teams when Dale Ellis were here. These kids don't even know. They don't even understand history. There's something about that ceiling, how tight we looked in that Houston game. And one other thought for you. You know, you were talking about Tony Vitello before and how he has a way to get guys just what he does. But Heflin talks about how he creates such a relaxed environment. It really makes you appreciate how last year's team broke through the ceiling. You know how hard that is to win a national championship in something like that? For the first time, he made it. I'm not going to say they made it look easy because they went 3 games with a really talented team, and they had to have an error to open the door with Florida State. But his kids performed in the moment. They went out and performed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you look back at that offense, and boy, what an offensive baseball team that was. Because that to me, Tony's had some of those years where he's had the pitching and maybe not the hitting, and the hitting and not the pitching, and and trying to, like I said, trying to get the complete team there. Because I thought last year, Tony, honestly, at the end, I knew our hitting was good enough to win a national championship. I didn't think our pitching was good enough last year to win it. And
I agree with that. And you needed that kid that became your Sunday starter. You needed him to absolutely shove in the postseason, or you're not holding the chalice. You're not winning it.
Yep, and he did. He rose to the moment and did, and rose above his talent level, and kind of like the Notre Dame kids when they came in and beat our super team.
Damn straight.
Those kids, they outplayed their talent level that weekend and won. And sometimes that's the beauty of sports, man, isn't it? Watching moments like that.
But you never want to see your kids choke like that, like the Arkansas kids.
Nope.
Nobody. I don't care. I don't like Arkansas. I don't. When they eliminated us, it was tough to watch. But those kids worked too hard to sit there and for me to take joy in that. That was really brutal looking at it.
That left fielder reminds me of Lenny Dykstra.
Yes, he does. He looks just like him. He looks just like him in the face.
And he just plays the way he bats, the way his mannerisms. It's fun. Oh, well, Tony, good.
Thank you,
y'all
buddy.
for being on. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, great talking to you. On my TLD Logistics phone lines, on a day where we're going to head to the weekend. Listen, Bino will be back with us on Monday. I want you to think about this over the weekend. This is going to be your assignment. An 8 or a 9 game conference schedule, what do you prefer? And I'll throw it up as a Twitter poll question as well. I'm going to tell you something. From a Tennessee perspective, 8 games is better. 8 games gives you a better opportunity to make that playoff 3 out of 5 years when they go to 16. It just does. Doesn't make the game better. But an 8-game league schedule is advantageous for us. Maybe you disagree with that. But I'll blog on it on Monday. We can talk about it. Just thinking out loud here, that's kind of where I'm at. Bri, thank you. Terrific job by you today. Great having you. Good luck this weekend, man. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Prayers up.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Till we meet again, go Indiana Pacers. For Pacer Vol Ryan. Shout out Pacer Vol Ryan. And I love you and I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Peace and G to the B to the O. And get on back here, Bino. Peace. All right, let's run it back today, shall we? On a smoking hot Friday, which is where we are. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, it is warm. Whew. Here we go. How's Burke out there in 95-degree weather playing golf? That sounds brave. Especially there, where the air doesn't even blow there. Brutal.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM.
Need to relearn that, Lance.
W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Ladies and germs, my name is Basilio, and I'm happy to be with you. Kind of fired up, folks, prepared today. I was talking with my special needs brother Steve last night. And I said, Steve, how you feeling? He goes, I'm pumped. So, Bri, if he's pumped, I'm pumped. It's good enough for me. You know what I mean? On a Friday. And I'm kind of pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped, Bri. Game 7 tonight. Game 7 Sunday.
Pumped.
Game 7.
Games 1, 2, and maybe 3. Yeah. You're pumped.
You know, it'd be nice in that NBA deal to have a couple close games in any of these series. That's all I'm asking. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice if they could start a little closer to 8 o'clock, but Stephen A. Smith has to run his fat mouth for an hour.
I can't stand him. I can't stand that guy. But that's all right. That's all right. Screamin' A's made a lot of money being Screamin' A. So it's a Screamin' A network. All right, let's talk here. Speaking of the network, Burke's going to join us later on in the hour on the golf course with Kyle Peterson. They're going to hand the phone back and forth to each other, Bri. They're out there playing.